Here we have the new and refreshed 2024 Cadillac XT4. Now this XT4 comes in the luxury trim level with front wheel drive in radiant red tint coat. And then we have the Oxford Stone with jet black leatherette interior. And the powertrain of this XT4 consists of a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that's made into a 9-speed automatic transmission. So I've done a review on the Sport, so I'm gonna see how it compares with the luxury trim here. As we come around to the front end, we get the same LED headlamps along with the LED daytime running lights. A different grille here, but I actually like this, even though this is one of the lower trims. The finish isn't all black or anything like that, but it looks very, very nice. And the black plastic here doesn't look terrible at all. So I'll show you the price of this in a minute, but for the price point, I think this is pretty stellar, honestly. Now, as we come around to the wheels, these are gonna be 18-inch aluminum. We get passive keyless entry on all 4 doors. Power door lock controls are here, power mirrors, rear window lock. We have one-touch automatic up and down windows for the front, express down windows for the back. Love that piano black trim. And then we have our power liftgate controls there. We can set that to max 3/4 or off and open and close it from that button there. Electronic parking brake, press to engage, hit the brake, press it again to disengage. Pedals are down there. Hood release. We have a manual tilt and telescope steering wheel. There's the release for that there. And here's our power driver seat with 2-way power lumbar support. And even though this isn't full leather, this feels nice, looks nice. So I'm impressed with that. And then I love this side pocket here. Tons of space to put little things. But I want to give a huge shout out to Cadillac of Murfreesboro for letting me review this XT4 today. I'll leave a link below in the description. But with the tinted glass in the back here, it's going to be a little hard to see, but I'm just going to show you the options list. This sticker is at $42,865, which I think for a luxury SUV, pretty good. But let's go ahead and check out this rear seat space. I have the seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, my driving position being 6'3". So, not the best room, but not terrible. I can sit back here, but just a little tight. Now, getting the XT5 and you should be good, but I like that we have the seat back pockets on both sides. This with the cold weather package, we have the 3-stage heated outboard seats back here, USB-C, USB-A charge port, and then our AC vents right there. There's a view of the front. And again, I like how this is optioned out because we do get that sunroof, and there it is with the sunshade up before we retract that after a while. Bottle holders in that middle seat. Then a grab handle here. We could probably fit a smaller plastic hanger and then maybe 2 metal hanger hooks on that right there. But we're gonna go ahead and make our way towards the back now. So we get those signature Cadillac tail lamps there. And it looks really good in this radiant red. It's just my opinion. It's one of my favorite colors on this XT4. And then here we have the rear space, the cargo space, excuse me. And then we have an inflator kit right there. The cool thing I like about this though is you can actually, it looks like you could put a spare tire in there if you want to. And then a 12-volt integrator right there. And there's a quick look underneath the vehicle for anyone who's curious. But I'm going to show you how the seat folds. And there's the capless fuel filler there. And premium is recommended to get full power output on this 2-liter turbo, but not required. And then you can just pull this latch here. And then when that seat up front is far enough, you can fold that flat there. And then pretty easy to just pull it up, lock it back into place. And I love this as well. We have the front passenger seat here, which also gets that 2-way power lumbar support. So again, in the luxury trim, it's nice to have that flexibility with your seat. Lockable glove compartment here. Owner's manuals are in there. And before we take a look at that new screen, we're gonna take a look in the engine bay. There's a release there. And there's that 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder underneath that cover. But next, let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So we do get a nice heated leather wrap steering wheel here. The toggle for that is here. There's the horn. I like the overall shape and the overall feel of the steering wheel. But with this new screen, this is going to be a 33-inch LED screen side to side there. So to our audio sources, we do have AM, FM, XM along with Bluetooth. And then with this Google system, we have the Google News and Podcasts. And then we also still have access to wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto compatibility, which is nice. We have access to the Google Maps here, which is a great system. You just have to have a subscription plan with it. It gets the job done and it looks nice. It shows you the traffic patterns and all that. It just depends if you're cool with having a subscription and not having installed navigation systems in your vehicle anymore. Doesn't really make me that big of a deal, especially when we have CarPlay and Android Auto, because that's what I like to use anyway. But dual zone automatic climate controls are here. And then we can adjust fan speed, temperature, all of that there. And then we also have the same access down here as buttons. And then 3-stage heated seats for the driver, front passenger. Hazards are there, parking sensors, lane keep assist with lane departure. Now here we have our backup camera. The guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. You can toggle your parking sensors on or off there. And storage here, USB-C, USB-A port, 12-volt. And then for the 9-speed, hit this button, pull down for drive, tap for neutral, tap up, or tap down for manual, tap up for neutral, pull all the way up for reverse, press P for park. And then we can also use this knob to go through the screen if we want to. And then we have certain shortcuts for everything too. So you can hit this vehicle info button, pull this up. You can look at your tire pressure monitors, fluids, and then engine and battery, all that. So pretty neat. And then I do want to show you in the settings here where all of this is. So system settings here, this is where you can change your units from US to metric, or if you want to go ahead and change your language, you have options there too. And then to connect your Bluetooth device, just go to phones, add phone, gives you the directions, just find it on your device and it walks you right through it. That's pretty much all the stuff that you need to make sure you know when you first get in one of these. Of course, you have a Wi-Fi hotspot. If you use that or want to pay for that, you have that access too. And then we have several drive modes. So we have the Sport, Snow and Ice, and Tour. And it kind of gives you a little graphic there as you decide which one you want to go through here. Then auto stop toggle, traction control. I'm gonna push back this sunshade while I'm going through this. And then we have a removable tray, 12-volt, pretty good storage in there. And that's a place to hold your phone. It's not a wireless charging pad, but you can just kind of put something in there if you want to. And then it's easy to grab it out of there without opening the whole compartment here. But there's that roof. You can tilt or slide it. So we're gonna one-touch slide that back. I'm gonna show you how far that goes with one touch, and then hit it a second time. Pretty much goes all the way back, which I think is fantastic. But the tilt button's there, the power sunshade button, and then the sliding roof button is there, garage door transmitter, and then we do have our premium dome lights there. And we also have the sunglasses holder right in there. But there's a view of the back seat from up here. And as that's shutting, take a look at this vanity mirror. That's a nice look there. And then over here to the gauge cluster, there's that view, and then we can actually change what's shown there by going through this. And then over here we can go through our trip meter, so we can scroll through that there. Now the stalk's behind the steering wheel, blinkers are here, high beams, you can toggle those on or off and then flash here, and then you can turn your auto mode on or off there, and your auto high beams, you can toggle those here. Windshield wiper controls, one time, off, intermittent, low, high. We can adjust the intermittent wiper here, and then our rear wiper off, intermittent on there. And then we just push back for the rear wiper fluid, pull up for the front wiper fluid. Paddle shifters are behind the steering wheel, and when you're in that manual mode there, you can use those. But we have the adaptive cruise, or excuse me, we have the regular cruise control here, and then we also have the forward collision alert gap adjust there, and then mute button, voice recognition. We can adjust speed there, go through our radio station favorites here, and then shortcuts. You'll see this on the gauge cluster here. We can pull up our radio or media, phone, and then volume controls are right here. Push button start. Finally, here's the key fob with remote start. And next it's time for us to go ahead and take this XT4 Luxury out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this XT4, I'm glad that for whatever reason GM didn't try to put a 1.5 liter turbo in here like they have in the Equinox. This 2 liter gets the job done, good power, good fuel economy, and it's just more fun to drive than the Equinoxes are now. Now ride quality is pretty good so far. But we're gonna put in a sport mode. I'm not gonna floor it, but I'm gonna give it a little punch here to test out the acceleration. So great merging power. And little effort having to be given to the engine just with the turbo, especially in the sport mode, putting in a lot of the work. We're gonna put it back into tour mode. And then we're gonna see if we can get the fuel economy numbers up. So it's showing us the instant here on the right, and then our average as we travel. But again, ride quality is pretty good with these smaller 18s. Road noise not bad. I can still hear it a little bit, but wind noise is fantastic. Not a lot of sound coming in the cabin, but it's also not completely deadened either. Now one thing that's annoying is this indicator here. So this doesn't have adaptive cruise control, but it does have the forward collision alert, but for whatever reason it's showing me that here. It does have the indicator though, the collision avoidance indicator, or the distance, whatever that thing is called, but you don't have the adaptive cruise control, so that can be confusing, especially if you're used to having it. But now in the small luxury SUV segment, I feel like there are quite a few competitors. You have Lexus. I mean, even if you want to compare Genesis with the GV70. And then we also have Infinity's QX. I guess the QX50 would be the size competitor here, but again, it's just, there's so many options in the segment. What I like about this is, especially in this luxury trim level, I feel like this is in the price point for a lot of people that want, I guess, the overall feel of a luxury vehicle, specifically a Cadillac, but you're not necessarily wanting to pay $65,000 for all this stuff that you don't really care about. So like my mom, she has a Cadillac, it's an XT5, and hers, I think, stickered it right at around 40 or 42, something like that, maybe a little less. And it was just everything she needed. She had the Bluetooth audio, the backup camera, a power seat. She didn't care about having the heated seat. She didn't care about having actual leather. She didn't even care about the sunroof. And this one has those few options, but I mean, you could get cooled seats, you could get massage seats, you could get adaptive cruise control, but if you don't care about that and you're more worried about keeping your payment at a certain number, especially with these higher interest rates, this is the way to go in this model. You get that same good powertrain, that 2-liter 4-cylinder that's turboed, and then you also have the 9-speed automatic. So you're not having to worry about a CVT like you do in the Infinities. But all in all, again, I think for the money, definitely deserves getting looked at. And it's just, it checks all the boxes, nothing crazy. But if you want something that looks good, especially with this refresh, you have this nice 33-inch screen here, all the tech options you could want, your standard blind spot monitors, that forward collision alert. Make sure you take a look at this new 2024 Cadillac XT4 in the luxury trim level.